plug in from God, but the dumb motherfucker, well, who wrote it for him? Yeah, if he can't read and write, and he had a revelation from God, who wrote the Bible? I mean, the Quran for that motherfucker. Fuck the Prophet Muhammad. I come from a family. If a nigga named Muhammad show up, mama, grandmama didn't trust him, granddaddy didn't trust him, great grandmama, mother didn't trust no nigga named Muhammad. Nigga, my grandmama and them like Cassius Clay. They didn't like Muhammad Ali. When that nigga changed his name to Muhammad Ali, they went loving Joe Louis and Joe Frazier. Nigga, they ain't give a damn. Yeah, nigga, fuck you. We Muslim niggas. Yeah, fuck you niggas that love Farrakhan.
16-year-old Charleston White took the stand and testified against his friend, Antoine Doolittle, who sat just a few feet from him and listened intently.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that Allah is one. We must guard our minds when anyone is talking to us. And how do you guard your mind? It's feeding on truth. So therefore, when falsehood is detected, your conscience will be on alert to dismiss that falsehood. How you measure a man's character, his integrity, and his strength is what comes out of his mouth. It's not what goes inside of a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of him that defiles him. What you say out of your mouth outlines your character, and your character is presented to the world. We as older brothers have a great responsibility when we teaching truth, because we have young brothers that listen to us. If we can't teach our youth concrete truth that's verifiable, that can be proven, then what the hell is we speaking about? What I may speak, you may not believe, but I'm speaking truth. And if it's truth, you may not accept it or believe it, but you can never dismiss truth, because truth will always resonate and it will always remain truth. You have brothers that when they learn truth, they try to bend truth and mix truth, excuse my expression, with shit. So when you speaking to the younger generation who may not be educated on what you're educated on, you are able to spit to them what they call good shit. And what do I mean by saying good shit? Because that's exactly what you're teaching and what you're speaking is just that. And I'm gonna give you an example of who do this. Charleston White. When I first heard him on YouTube, I turned him on. He was talking, you know what I'm saying? And some of the stuff that he say, it'll make sense. So you will listen. But then he said that the only thing that he will use a Final Call newspaper for is to wipe his ass. And then he started speaking negative about the Nation of Islam. Speaking good shit. How does that affect our use? When you have movies like Malcolm X that comes out with an interior motive to build hate in the heart of our uneducated people for the Nation of Islam, for Minister Farrakhan. We know what media do. Man, we born citizens in America. So when you have somebody like you, Charleston White, speak on YouTube, you are speaking to the weak sides of them brothers and sisters. And they'll listen to you because you spitting good shit. And I must ask the question to you. What have the Nation of Islam ever have done to you? And I promise you, a brother in the nation hasn't done anything to you. There's two things about a brother or a sister that speaks negative about the Nation of Islam or speaks negative about Minister Farrakhan. There's two things about them. Now let me clear this up. Everybody is not going to believe what you believe. And just because somebody don't believe what you believe is not an enemy. They just don't believe what you don't believe. They just don't believe what you believe. And it's okay with that because life is diversity. I can believe what I want to believe that works for me. The problem comes in is when you start speaking falsehood about the belief. When you start speaking nonsense about their belief. Because it's two people that speaks negative about Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. It's two people. Those people, one, have a vehement hatred for themselves, or is government informants. Because the Nation of Islam has never did anything to anyone. We don't burn our Star and Crescent in somebody's yard and put a cocktail inside of a bottle with gasoline in it and throw it in somebody's house. You have never heard the Nation of Islam doing that. But your real enemy, you are too afraid to speak about him. Only house niggas speak negative about their people. And this dude right here got so much feminine ways that you can't out-argue him because he argues like a woman. So with people like that, you attack them and destroy them with their history. Because their history will have a lineage of betrayal. Man, we teaching these little young brothers silly stuff, man, you know what I'm saying? They be listening to it. No, sir, our responsibility is to teach the young truth. Teach them responsibility. Teach them truth. an older brother talking all, man. And then when you pull up on a person, he pull out some mace. It's easy for us to point out our defects and speak about them. We are at the bottom of everything. So why would I help step on my own people when I am from that body? You know, when you really look at a person that really talk really down on his people and go against his people with all the stuff that we have really been through, really shows a hell of a degree of you as a person. Who taught you? Because there's nowhere in the world that a person like that can be trusted with really anything. Anytime you have a man that needs attention, anytime you have a man that has to destroy somebody else to get views and likes, that's a man that you cannot trust, because he would do anything to survive. He would do anything to be relevant. You started off as an activist and got tired of doing that because it really wasn't in your heart to do that. So when struggles came, when disappointments came, you transferred to YouTube. Minister Farrakhan has never, ever retired from him striving to rehabilitate us. And anyone, I say this with bold conviction, anyone who say anything negative about Minister Farrakhan, you's a damn hypocritical devil, you's an agent for this government. And you know you are. Or you got so much of a hatred for yourself. You hate yourself. You can tell a person that hates themselves how they speak about their people. It's math. You can just tell how much they really hate themselves by how they speak and represent their people through disappointment. That really brings the hatred up out of them. We ain't like this by our choice. We wasn't like this by accident. We was like this by force. And even though our race has been dismantled, we are still powerful and strong. And you have those that do not speak negative about their people unless they point out a behavior that must be corrected. And what that's called is constructive criticism. All praises belongs to Allah. You will never hear me speak negative about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, how he has sacrificed. You will never hear me speak negative about Minister Farrakhan, how he has sacrificed. Only a wicked nigga, only a wicked house nigga who loves his enemy because his enemy gives him nothing will speak negative about people that's doing the right thing for their people. That's a weak devil. Please. Just because what I speak, you may not believe it. Just because of what I speak, you may not accept it, and that's okay. But what I speak, how do you know what I'm speaking is not the truth? And there's one thing about truth. You can, if you're born in America, you know what a person is speaking is the damn truth. Period. Point blank, period. It's one thing that We can run and hide in the house. We can run and hide from somebody. But it's one thing that you can never run from is yourself and your history. Because your history is recorded in a sacred place, and that's your mind. And it's one thing that you can never, ever change is how your mind has recorded history, whether you want to accept the truth or not. See, when God gives us a free will, we can make and choose what we want to believe, choose what we want. Even though we know this is the truth, I can believe it's not the truth. Animals don't have that, but we do. A lion can't be nothing else but a lion. A hyena can't be nothing else but a hyena. An elephant can't be nothing else but an elephant. But a human being can think because he have an own free will to choose what he want to choose. And God give him that leverage, so whenever he accepts truth, he accepts it from his heart. Flat out. He accepts truth from his heart. And that's when God gets the best part of you. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. I want to interrupt this video right quick because I want to make sure I'm not the only one that sees this. Have you noticed that when people speak ill about their people, hate on their people, when they speak ill about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, they speak ill about the honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. Look at them individuals' face. Look how old and ugly they look. Look how old they look. When you go against truth, you go against the grain of your brain cells. That speeds up the process of aging. Allahu Akbar. Allah is indeed the greatest.